I consider Widow in Oil a worst-case scenario. A helpless widow under extreme financial stress, at risk of losing her own children? I can't imagine. Few of us watching this have ever experienced such extreme financial distress. Now, we don't know how she came to be in these terrible circumstances, but we do know this: the widow was married to a godly man. Now, this story should eliminate any judgmental attitudes about those who've made financial mistakes. Financial difficulties can happen to anyone, even those who love God. You know, I've found that when you face financial problems, regardless of how bad they may seem, it's always the right decision to turn to God for help. God has a part, and in this case, a miracle was performed on behalf of the widow. Yet, don't miss this equally powerful point. Just as God has a part, He expects each of us to do our part as well. Our part may look much like the part demonstrated by the widow. Cry out to God and turn to godly counselors for wisdom and advice. Be willing to ask for help. Humble yourself and admit your need. Involve your family and children. Allow them to participate in your effort to get completely out of debt. And be willing to work. The widow was delivered by selling her oil, not by God placing money in the jars that she collected. Also pay your debts and manage your surplus well. To start your journey out of financial bondage, I encourage you to answer this simple question: what do you have? Now, your first reaction is probably nothing, but I believe God has given us all something. So take the time to compile a list of your assets and liabilities. Your companion guide has some good suggestions of how to go about doing this. I believe you'll be surprised at what you actually do have, the things that can be useful in the Lord's hands. Now, you may have items of value, however small, tangible or intangible, that God wants to uniquely use for your deliverance. And one final point. Some of you are watching who don't relate at all to this widow. Others will relate to the children in this story, or maybe Elisha, or maybe you're just one of the neighbors who simply has a jar to offer. Maybe God is speaking to you in a different way. You may be that someone that God wants to use to help another family in need. As you consider ways that you can apply this story to your life, ask yourself as well, what do I have that God can use to serve others? We all have something. It may be wisdom, it may be a skill, it may be a helping hand, maybe it is a simple jar. Whatever it is, God will be pleased to multiply it when we submit everything He's given us to His care. Now, I know there are infinite lessons found in all of God's stories, but my prayer is that through these lessons, God will be speaking to your heart and moving your hands to take action.